It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish. A happy new year to each and every one of you. This is our very first show of 2024, and I'm so excited. We're going to have a great one today. I have an amazing guest. Lots going on around the world, and it's just wonderful. You know, I can see, hear, and feel all this amazing positive energy. I know this is going to be an extremely great year. If this is your very first time tuning into us, the Divas That Care Network is going into its 14th season. I can't believe that we've been doing it this long. It has been absolutely fantastic. I am so grateful and blessed that we have grown and evolved. We've had so many amazing guests, hosts, people that have really been a part of the things that we're doing here. And you know what? We're just excited that you've tuned into us today. So thank you so much. All right, everybody. Today's amazing guest is Victoria Lowry. And I'm so excited to have her for my first guest this year. So welcome to the show, Victoria.
Oh, thank you, Candace, so much. Congratulations to you, first up, for going on 14 years. And secondly, I'm very honored to be your first guest of this year. We better get this right and launch the season off well, huh?
I think so. I'm so excited. So, Victoria, would you mind starting us off with introducing yourself to our amazing listeners today?
All right. Well, let's see. I have kind of a varied background. Maybe I kind of figured out who I want to be when I grow up, finally. But I've always been, writing was always my strongest suit in school. But it really never dawned on me to make it a career. So I went into business. I was asked to run the Family Supper Club. I actually stepped out of college my senior year and made a business plan. It was in trouble, so we revised that. We sold it. I went back and finished college. I had a little talk show myself on cable for a while and was offered ownership of that company, but it was right after 9/11 hit. And I was really concerned. A lot of advertising dollars are being cut and I had to make a decision. I ended up being offered the CEO position at the local Chamber of Commerce, and that launched a direction in CEO. I worked at 3 progressively larger chambers until I stopped at the state level where I ran the professional association. But I had this nagging feeling all the time that there was something else I was supposed to be doing, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I think there's a lot of other people that are searching for purpose, which is also a good topic at the first of the year. So I just held my breath and leaped away from that. I left the business world there, and I just wanted to talk about emotions and empowering ourselves with our emotions. And that's what I've done since 2011. I've written 3 books, and I speak. I've got some programs in some schools, and that's what I do.
I think that's extraordinary. And what a little bit of a change there, you know, going from corporate America, really, and then going into life coaching. You know, that's absolutely extraordinary. And what a way to be able to mentor other women out there.
Well, I have absolutely no doubt that anything all of us do is to prepare us for the next thing. And I still use absolutely everything that I learned in that world of, I was actually in nonprofit management. So, but I worked side by side at the state capitol, worked with a lot of politicians, and I learned so much. Because our goal in Chamber of Commerce, of course, is free enterprise. So, we were working side by side with a lot of politicians as well on the state level. But all of that adds up to things that I'm using as tools in what I do today. I just think that's the way it works when we just go with the flow and take that next step and just keep steering the wheel.
You know what? I couldn't agree with you more. You never know where your journey is going to take you. And
right.
The skills and everything that you learn through that journey. But I use those skills today, with everything in my life. And I would say don't knock the journey, guys, because you never know where it's going to lead you. And things always get better and better if you're willing to be open to it.
Yes, just enjoy the journey, right? I can look back at all those things and, even though during that time when I was doing a lot of that work, I kept feeling like there's something else I'm supposed to be doing. But, looking back, if I could talk to myself back then, just relax with it and trust the process, because when I look back now, I can see where every single thing that I've done has benefited me and supporting me at this point in life and made me that much stronger and given me that much more to give to others.
Was there a point where you made that shift? Did something trigger that?
I found myself sitting in boardrooms with all these really intelligent, well-spoken, successful people. And because the boards of directors, my job on the state level was to go around the state, and I would lead strategic planning sessions for chambers of commerce across the state and do different things like that. So there's a lot of successful business people on these boards. I'm sitting in the meetings thinking, well, why is that person's opinion heard so much more? And why is that person not speaking their opinion when I know they have things to say? So my brain was working on an emotional level and observing the emotional inner workings on the board level and witnessing in there how it affects business decisions. Simply one person who was much more dominant in their opinion and their ability to voice it would then drive the direction of the business simply because their voice was more well-spoken in the meeting. And that all comes down to emotions and confidence and, management of ourselves. And that was my vision in that boardroom. And I thought, well, I got to pay attention to the agenda, but this is where my mind really is. So that's where I need to dedicate.
That is so crazy. I love that and how you were able to pick that up. A lot of people might not see that. They just automatically just go with the flow. And I love that you're able to pick up on those clues and you're like, no, like you could really see that. I can see how you work with individuals now in regards to the emotions, in relationships. So let's talk about that because I find that quite fascinating. Why have you really dived into the relationships part of it? I know that today we're going to be talking about our 9 questions of lasting love, which I think is an extraordinary topic for starting off the new year. Like I love the idea of talking about purpose, but lasting love is so important in a world right now that there seems to be a lot of chaos, a lot of negativity. Important to show the kindness and the respect and the love because you don't know what a person's going through. But how does this work within relationships? How do you coach people through this?
You know what? Everybody wants love, Candace, don't they? I rewatched the movie Eat, Pray, Love the other night. So good. And it struck me something that she said in the beginning, that she had a friend who was a counselor who worked with refugees who had been locked away in these camps and kicked across borders and had really, really rough lives. And she was commissioned to work with them. And she's thinking, how can I possibly help these people when really when they get in there and get talking to them, all they want to talk about is the guy that I met at the concentration camp or the holding camp. And, I had to leave my boyfriend here. It's love. It doesn't matter what circumstances we're in. Love is always a factor. And even in a bigger picture level than that, so there's so much talk about manifesting, I think, these days and understanding our abilities to manifest. And manifesting doesn't just come from getting our thoughts straight. when we add emotion to that, emotion is the thing that really causes us to be able to manifest. And when we can put ourselves in a position of feeling what love really feels like, then we find love. You know, the emotions are the most powerful force existing out there, and love being at the top of the emotion list as the most powerful. So, yes, if we're going to wield force around, it's going to be love. So there's 9 questions, and these came to me back in 2011. I had been through a divorce myself, and it was something I never thought would happen to me. I was actually the girl as a teenager who dreamed of celebrating her 50th golden wedding anniversary. Isn't that silly? But no, I never saw it coming. So I was sitting there thinking, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. Because I dated for 6 years prior to marriage. I just didn't see it coming. I thought there's got to be a way that we can make a better decision, or have more smarts go into that decision. And it was like an intuitive download just came in like 5 minutes, and I just wrote everything down as fast as I could. And these are the 9 questions that came. So we'll just go through one at a time. The first, there's 9 questions, and they get answered simply with a yes or no. I'm very much of the keep it simple principle. And if you get 9 yeses, then that's your foundation for a solid relationship. These are deal breaker issues. And so that's a green light for go. Any no answers are, of course, a red light. And being an eternal optimistic person, you know, we like to think we could turn the no's into yeses. But the first question is, do you both want a lifetime commitment at the same time? So that's a 2-part question. First of all, do you both want a lifetime connection, and do you want it at the same time? Because quite often when we're dating, you know, timing is quite a factor.
Yes.
And it may seem like a simple but obvious question. Maybe when you're dating someone and you might assume, yes, of course we want this, but there's something happens when you actually have the conversation. It puts validity. It opens the door to deeper depths of nuances that go into that. I would suggest, you know, these questions actually, to kind of back up a little bit, I think they're great. I like to see them be taught at a youth level before we even begin dating, because then they're preset in our minds and we know what to plan for. But also, if you're at the dating stage right now, these are great questions to speak about with your partner. It'll really open up a lot of conversation and allow you to see what page you're on together. And if you're already married, it's also very good, because then you can see the strengths that you have in your relationship. And if there are any no's, then you know what you got to work on. So
I just want to ask you, that's something that I've always agreed on. I said, why aren't people teaching this at a younger age? You know, there's so many things I think the school systems or families or anything, these are the conversations they should be having, because it will really help them for the rest of their lives.
You are singing my song right now, Candace.
Yeah.
I could not agree with you more. Yes, because, I mean, science, technology, engineering, math, yes, that's all great. We need that. But we also need emotions, because just like I was telling you earlier, sitting in the boardroom, witnessing, if a person is feeling unsure about their voice, they might have the best idea in the room, but if their confidence doesn't allow them to voice the opinion, that idea will not get heard. And it will not get played out in the corporate world. It'll not be an idea that gets developed. If we're having struggles with a relationship and we're sad and that brings us down and it closes off our communication. I mean, all those examples of emotional things, those will either open the path or close the path to your success in your professional world as well. So yeah, why wouldn't that be part of our basic education? Absolutely. So just to repeat that first question quickly, and these will be available on my website if anyone doesn't get to write them all down, you can get them there as well. But do you both want a lifetime commitment at the same time, yes or no? To go on to the second question, do you know and can you support your partner's goals and dreams? How often do we sit around and talk about our goals and our dreams? Again, on any level, with if you're married, dating, or just considering, getting ready to go into the dating world. What more important things? I mean, there's many important things to talk about, but certainly your goals and your dreams are huge because those come from your soul. Dreams, I think, are visions placed in our perspective because they're a message coming from our soul. It's a blueprint for something for you to enact in your life, and to deny that would be going against your soul. So we really need to be able to have those conversations with whoever we would choose to partner with in life, and make sure that our dreams and goals are compatible. Someone who dreams of being a big game hunter, for example, wouldn't want to certainly combine or partner with someone who is a vegetarian, right? So we have to make sure that we can support and know and be a partner in those goals and dreams, and that they're compatible. So for the third question, do you both either want or not want children at the same time? Yes or no? I'd like to keep it simple. Just yes or no is the answer. And to expand on this question, again, it is another two-parter. Kind of hard to compromise on either wanting or not wanting children. I suppose it can be done, but it is a really tough one to compromise on. And then also, do you want that at the same time? Timing, again, is a factor in life. So the answer is just circle yes or no. And when you take these questions and sit down with your love interest, again, allow the conversation to just flow and open to whatever else it might lead into, and go deeper into the topic of children. The fourth question, are we in agreement on how we will make financial decisions? Yes or no? Keep it simple. I think it's pretty widely known that finances can be a leading cause of divorce. So the more proactive we can be and have those conversations. I mean, when you're dating someone, you usually don't have the financial conversations. Those can be really, really awkward. The further along you go, probably the easier it is to have them, but just have them. And be proactive. Will ego play a role if one of you earns more than the other? You can communicate in advance by making agreements on a budget. That will be a nice guiding framework for how you do your spending. Everything's out in the open. We're communicating about our priorities on spending. That's a big one right there. If you have so much extra free spending money, one person might consider traveling the priority to use it on, and another one might consider home improvements. Discussing your priorities on spending will help avoid a lot of conflicts in the future. Also, maybe making agreements on a dollar amount. Say that we will discuss together any decisions or any purchases over, say, a dollar amount of $500 or whatever you choose. Just the more pre-planning that you put into those financial decisions is being proactive and avoiding conflict. Does that make sense?
It does. I've been writing this down. I'm excited because I definitely think that our listeners need to go to your website. But what extraordinary questions. You know, I honestly wish that I would have been able to have these questions with my husband because, you know, there is things that we've had to work on through the years. But I think this would have really helped us in the beginning.
I mean, back to what you said, why don't we teach this in schools? You know, honestly, why don't we? Because, you know, if a marriage is falling apart, that's going to affect all areas of your life. If, you know, a dating relationship is falling apart, that affects all areas of your life. So, yeah, these are critically important topics here.
I love this. Like, I've been really enjoying this. I know that we've only got about 10 minutes left here in our program, but I think that, you know, we're going through these questions and maybe we can have a follow-up conversation, just kind of diving really deep into more information on them. Yes,
you're right. We're skimming right now because we do have to get through 5 more questions here. But yeah, really dive deep on them. But we do want to keep it simple, just yes or no. Okay, so we'll go on to the 5th one. Can we both be monogamous as mutually agreed? And I word it that way because we recognize that you know, people are structuring different styles of monogamous relationships, but it has to be as agreed. And let's have that conversation. How do you see monogamy? And let it include things. Your conversation include things like flirting, looking. How do we support each other in social situations? Let your conversation include all that. Yes or no? Can we both be monogamous as mutually agreed? Yes or no? The 6th question, would you still love your partner if your partner's looks change for the worse? Yes or no? And we know
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we know that appearances are obviously a forerunner in initial attraction. But we also know in reality that time and illness and accidents can and do change appearances. So will that also change your heart? So this is the 6th question here. The will you still love your partner if their looks change for the worse? I'm suggesting that starting with this 6th question, you look more introspectively to answer it on your own. But the first 5 that we've already heard, definitely discuss those with your love interest. Number 7, do you trust your partner? And I know it's easy to try to answer that quickly and just say, yes, of course I do. But really consider all areas of trust and really look deeply at that before you quickly say just yes or no. The 8th question, do you like who you are when you're together? Yes or no? And that's pretty much simply a sign of respect. You can feel your partner's respect, but also how are you able to respect yourself within the relationship? That's going to be really important on the long term. So yes or no. And then the final deal breaker question is, does your partner welcome your opinion? Yes or no? Because we both want to feel equally valued, right, in a relationship. We want our voice to be equally as valued. So yes or no. That's it.
I was just going to say, that is absolutely extraordinary. I'm thinking, I'm listening to you, I'm like, oh my gosh, you are so right. This is something that I'll help you. We'll get this into the schools. We'll post it to get it everywhere because these are questions. And you don't think, a natural process, but it's really not. You don't really think of it at the time. But now, if you've been in a relationship and you're like, oh my gosh, I should have asked that. I should have done that. I should have done that. And this is great. Thank you so much, Victoria. I love what we have been talking about today.
Oh, and you know what? I'm going to gladly take you up on that offer to help get this in school.
Yes.
I mean, really.
I don't understand why it's not.
Yeah. That's a whole show in itself. But you know what? It's a new year. It's a new time in history. We're having these conversations. You are having the conversation. You've been having caring conversations for 14 years. And the time is right. I think the time is right. I've seen little things happening, and different schools are doing different little programs. And so the door is open. And I think we just go ahead and flood the gates and march right on in there and really go full throttle with it.
I think this would help make people happier as they got older. That divorce rate and everything is so high right now that, just because of the struggle that I think nobody could have anticipated the last couple of years, had they had these questions, right, you would have been able to realize like, oh, well, maybe we weren't compatible in that aspect. We didn't have the same goals. We didn't have, especially when you're going through such a big life-changing thing.
Yeah, and you're right. The divorce rate is still high. First marriages, 50% of them still in a divorce. And unfortunately, I always ask people if they think the divorce rate is for second marriages. Unfortunately, it goes higher. But
wow.
But yeah, and I don't think that's because people don't want it to last. We just need to have the conversations up front.
Yes.
Yeah, we really do.
We do. Oh, my goodness. Victoria, it has been my honor having you on my program today. Would you be interested in coming back on the Divas That Care and, diving through this and then diving into maybe the purpose? There's so many topics that I can think of going over with you.
I would be honored to come back, Candace. Thank you.
And, Victoria, what is your website address so they can go and check you out?
Yes, they can go to victorialowry.com. That's Victoria, Lowery. And if you missed some of the questions, you can actually, if you want to sign up for the newsletter, which I hardly ever send anybody anything, but just so we can stay connected, you will receive the 9 questions for free. Thank you, Candace. It's been a pleasure. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll make it a great year.
Yes.
Here we go.
2024 is going to be extraordinary.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for listening today. I will be posting Victoria's social media on all of our social media because I know that you'll want to go and click on it. She's also got her Instagram, her LinkedIn, and her Facebook. So I want you guys to go check her out, go follow her, go see everything she's doing. Go check out her books. We didn't even get to talk about her books today. So you'll want to go and check out those also. It's another topic for another show. I'm so excited about this. This is going to be I want to welcome Victoria to our Divas. As an honorary diva, you're welcome to our family, and I know we're going to be doing so many collaborations this year. So thank you, Victoria. Thank you to all of our amazing listeners through the years, to all of our new ones that are tuning in to us. Make sure that you share our programs, share, comment as much as you can. That really supports our guests when they come onto our program. So thank you again, and remember to always do something kind. Until next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.